I am Heather Hope, and as promised, I wanted to make a brain spotting video of what you can expect in a brain spotting session. So first of all, I wanted to share a little bit of my experience with brain spotting and why I became a brain spotting practitioner and became certified in it. I had some trauma when I was 4 years old, and I went to several counselors, I think 5 actually, before I had a brain spotting counselor. And even during the counseling sessions, I really felt like my wheels were spinning, or if I made any progress, I just slid back down. Like I'd never really felt a sense of forward progress. And that caused me really like a sense of depression. Like I'm doing all I can to move forward, and I'm even seeing a counselor, and there's no hope. Also, when things would happen in life, I would be re-triggered to feel 4 years old again and kind of act like a 4-year-old under stressful situations, and then I would blame myself for that and just kind of felt hopeless until I was fortunate enough to begin brain spotting. And really every session I went every 2 weeks for a year, and in every session I just felt like forward, forward, forward without any backsliding. And I feel that I grew up over that year because I was experiencing a really difficult time in my life when we started, and a similar difficult time at the end. And at the end, I was like, well, I'm an adult. I can handle this. Let me think it through. Let me process it. And it was just so refreshing to feel empowered, and like my 4-year-old self was healed and wasn't re-triggered when things happened like I was an adult. So I became very passionate about it and got certified in it. And now I offer it to clients in my home in Appleton, Wisconsin, and also online via Zoom. So what they say about brain spotting is where you look affects how you feel. And what they mean by that is there's if you put a grid in front of your face, each point on the grid has a different feeling for it. So maybe you've even seen people or noticed yourself say oh, when I was 4 years old, this bad thing happened, blah, blah, blah. So this would be my brain spotting point for my 4-year-old memory. And what happens is it's like opening a file cabinet. When I look in this position, that helps me re-see, relive, re-feel the 4-year-old memory itself. So the brain spotting therapist will help you identify your point, your space with this, a pointer like this for your trauma. And then you look at this dot, that's your brain spot for the trauma, or for something positive. They say that there's a God spot. So if you want to improve or strengthen your spirituality, they can help you find a God spot, and then you can look at this and basically help rewire your brain about what you want it to be wired for. So how I define trauma is, well, it's not really a definition, but this is how I think about it. It's a memory that gets stuck in short-term memory. So one example would be, I don't necessarily remember what I ate for lunch last week or the week before or whatnot, but I know that if last week I got food poisoning, I would absolutely remember it. And I would remember the restaurant, I would remember what I ordered, I might remember what I wear or my waitress, or how I felt when I got home, or all the parts and pieces around the incident. And really it's our brain helping us to remember it so we don't do it again. That's why trauma gets stuck. And I say there aren't really traumatic incidents. It's the trauma is not caused by what happened, it's how we processed it. So, in the sense of getting food poisoning, I might blame somebody, I might blame myself, but more traumatic incidences, a lot of times get all like bogged down or clouded with like I'm not lovable. This is evidence I'm not lovable, or I'm to blame, or I'm dirty, or I'm stupid, or I'm ugly, or whatever those things are. So like it's the original trauma incident, but then it gets all these like highly charged emotional ideas packed onto it. And because of all the charged emotions packed on, our brain won't just like allow it to go to long-term memory where all like the other lunches that I had just like slid through. They're not charged. It's totally normal. It just like slides through to long-term memory. But the one where I got food poisoning, it's like got stuck. So it's stuck in short-term memory. And trauma gets stuck in short-term memory. So even if it was 20 years ago, it feels like it was yesterday, or you have like flashbacks or triggers, or even little things like even smells, like subconsciously can trigger you, or certain colors. So in brain spotting, we use the pointer, like I said, to find your brain spot. And then you have two jobs in brain spotting. The client has two jobs. The first job is to look at this point. Look at the point that your person says. Online, a lot of times, it's outside this view, so you might like, but I can still help you find it through the computer screen, but it just might be off the computer screen. So, normally when people talk, they look at each other. But in brain spotting, you look here, and then you can still like talk to the therapist, but your eye is like on one certain point. And therapists don't a lot of times talk to you because even the talking process like pulls you into this part of your brain, and trauma is stored in this part. So I would say clients like 50-50 talk through. They might say, what they're seeing or experiencing, but some just don't talk. And either way, the counselor is really not supposed to like pull them back into talking, which is up here, because they're processing. They're digging through the file cabinet of the file around trauma that they wrote maybe as a child, and they're like re-looking at it and pulling stuff out, and like I was saying, like pulling the emotional charge off of the original incident. So I was saying that the client has two jobs. The first one is to look at the point. The second one is to feel inside their body and be curious what's happening. So this is like, it's called psychosomatic processing. So we're using our bodies and the feeling of our bodies and the wisdom of our bodies to help us rewrite the story. So, so for an example, I might have a client come in and I'll listen to their story. And as I'm listening to like what they're fired up about or, working on, like they might say, I feel suffocated in my job. Nobody appreciates me, etc., etc. So I'll write down like their highly charged emotional words, and then I'll ask them, where do you feel that in your body? So 90% of people, I would say, can like just, like if you close your eyes and you say like, what did I say? Like I'm suffocating in my job. Like, I don't know, to me already it comes up like right here. So but it would be different for every person, of course. But the point would be that your second job is to be curious about what's in your body. So in this situation of I'm suffocating in my job and I feel it in my chest, I'm curious about what this is. So that basically means like I'm looking at this point, but I'm feeling inside my body. I'm feeling like, does it have a boundary? Does it have a border? Is it mushy? Is it fiery? Is it red? Is it, whatever. Does it have masculine energy or feminine? Is it neutral? Like, what is happening in here? And again, you can talk about it or you don't have to talk about it. So when you're doing your job, that you're looking at this point and you're feeling in your body. Basically, three different things. There's like three different ways you can process through this. So the first way would be that this feeling that I was like observing and following all of a sudden moves and it's like in the back of my head. And so the counselor would say, okay, be curious about what's in the back of your head, meaning all those things. Like, does it have an edge? Is it mushy? Is it fiery, etc.? So then you just keep observing this, and maybe it'll move to another spot, and then it just kind of feels like it's the charge is diminishing. And then I, as a counselor, would re-trigger. I would kind of like tell them their words back that they were saying to me earlier. I would say like, I'm suffocating in my job. And then basically we go back to the original heart spot and see like, is there residue there? Are there more charged particles around the trauma story? And then allowing it is a huge part of it. Just like if you feel like you're suffocating, allow it, almost welcome it, like hi suffocation feeling, like welcome, let me see you, let me sit with you, let me not try to fix you for a minute. So I was saying there's three ways you can process. The first way is like this heart feeling moves to my head, moves to wherever, and then like diminishes. The second way you can process is like people twitch, like involuntary reactions, basically. So it might be like your eyes are blinking, or the yawning can be one, or just like whatever, like your body moving. Some people, it's called unwinding. So your body can just, whatever's stored, the trauma is stored in our body. Of course, we're holistic beings, like mind, body, spirit, all connected. So this trauma, even if it was like an emotional incident, it's stored in our bodies. So unwinding is it leaving our body. So the third way that people process is they're looking at their point, and then they say like, oh, it's telling me, like there's some like other voice talking to them and then helping them, say, oh, it's actually not my boss that I hate. This is reminding me of my dad. Like there's some other voice that tells them something that helps them reprocess. So, let's see. So again, the goal is to discharge the emotions around the trauma so that it can slide through and go into long-term memory. And then it feels like, for people, it feels like, even like my 4-year-old thing, like, yep, it happened and it's fine. Like it just is. It's like in the past. It's like an old story that doesn't like define who I am anymore. It doesn't trigger me. So that is the ultimate goal. And I wanted to let you know that I offer sessions in this, as I mentioned, online or in person. And I will add a link below to my scheduling site so that if you're interested, you can make an appointment with me. And please subscribe if you wish, because I'll be continuing making videos about the services I offer, but also holistic health holistic health tricks and tips, and also pointing out the inversion, like the ways that we're programmed in society that are not healthy, and the truth around those. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again. Peace be with you.